Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Death Wish Hot Rods and Customs. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup.
Hey, this is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the Everblack Podcast.
Hey, human skull, this is odorous from Guam.
Going to the Fear Factory.
This is George Corsh Hunter Fisher.
This is Jasmine Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
You might get some suicidal tendencies.
He is at Wednesday 13.
This is Bruce Evans.
This is Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary from Sepultura, and you're listening to Everblack Podcast.
Milla, thanks for joining us on the show again. It's great to see you, brother. It's been a very long time. But here we are. We're back again, back at it. And how's everything going down there? What's happening?
Yeah, good, man. Thanks again for having us. Everything's going well, considering, everything's just going well, really. Fuck considering stuff. Everything's going well. Life's good. We're getting back out to play gigs again, which is it's been a while in between drinks. So just super excited to play again. And writing new music and working on new tunes and doing, being in a band again. Playing music again, being in a band again properly.
Right.
It's
weird saying that, isn't it?
Man, this is the longest I've been without playing gigs, and I think since 2006, or maybe something like that. Like for a long time, this is the longest I've been without, playing gigs for a pretty long time. So it's kind of weird not doing it. It was odd. It was kind of nice to have a little break when everything did stop. Like whilst when everything did stop, I was absolutely petrified for a bunch of reasons, business and, this sort of shit, work, all that kind of, all the, the same fear everybody else had. But then on the other side of it, it was kind of nice to have it was sort of like, let's sort of stop and smell the roses a little bit, which is weird because we just released an album and we just wanted to go hard with it. But I don't know, you got to look for the positives and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of nice. But then after a few months of sitting around doing nothing, it was like, fuck this.
You gotta
get back at it.
Mate, I know. I totally know what you mean there. But man, I can't wait. You're dusting off the amps and ready to hit the road in support of Battle Ready, mate.
Yep.
Crushing track.
The most cheesy song title you'll hear this year, hopefully. It's so bad, but hey, fuck it.
Like
good. It's good fun. It's all in the name of fun. That's the main thing with the new tune. So yeah, man, we can't wait to get back out there. We've been working on heaps of new tunes. And that's the first one we'll be releasing we'll put some more stuff out later this year, but it's just a fun tune. It's a groovy track, and it's kind of all about saying goodbye to the year that had just passed, and let's move forward from the ups and downs of it all, and just have a good time and all that kind of thing. It's a fun song, essentially.
It is. And you know what? I haven't heard anyone say that about the track, the title, at all. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good title. Yeah, I think it's a really good title. I don't think it's a shit title.
No, it is. I'm just poking fun at myself, really.
Yeah. But I mean, it is pretty symbolic for everything that's going on. I mean, it's like you're ready to get out there and just tear the world apart. Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's essentially what it is. Like, all jokes aside, the Battle Ready name of the song, and there's lyrics in there that says battle ready or whatnot. That's what it's all about. It's like, fucking throw at us what you want. We're ready to go. Like, dish it up. We're ready. We're ready to fucking do battle. Basically, like when we go out on the road and we play shows, we're going out to fucking battle, man. 100%. Whatever life wants to throw at us in all its different shapes and forms, and we're ready. Basically, that's kind of what it's about. And then it goes off on a tangent in the middle of the song about rashes in people's pants and things slipping down legs and all sorts of other odd fucking shit. But essentially, the song's about, hey.
I haven't noticed that. I gotta re-listen to it.
One of my favorite lyrics in it is, I got this, what is it? I got these, I forgot. I've written the lyrics and I can't remember what they are. I've got these new shoes and a cup full of booze, and let me tell you how I'm ready to dance. I've got a bold rash down in the seat of my pants, and I'm concerned on just how long it'll last.
That's amazing.
It's a good one, It's a good one. So it's a bit of a like fucking, fuck you to the year before. It's a bit of a let's get back out there and do it again, and then it's a bit of poking fun at ourselves and let's have some fun.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the video's awesome. I love the video. You're being chased down the street. It's a really fun video, but did you regret coming up with it going, I've got to do all that running?
It was funny because when we came up with the clip, that was Mano's idea, the essential, the premise of the clip, he was the sort of the brain behind that one. And that, like he's the guy chasing me, and it's funny how Nano, you know how fucking much of a bloody sweetheart he is, essentially. Yeah, like, man, he's just the nicest dude ever. And he plays the aggressor in the clip, this menacing, and he pulls it off
really
so
well,
like,
right?
He looks so mean, like, but for a dude that's not mean at all. And then like when we started doing it, and then we were like, all right, you've got to wear a jacket, you got to look a little shady, we'll put a hat on you, we'll make you look a little shady and all this kind of thing. And when we were shooting it, man, it was just the hottest, sunniest day ever. It was like just this beautiful sunny day. And it was just basically like, all right, let's get you to chase me down this street and climb over this handrail or whatever, all this kind of stuff. Just chase scenes, essentially, good old fashioned chase scene. And man, between each scene or between each shot, he's just like pulling the jacket off, just going off. Like, oh mate, he was just cooking. And the scene, excuse me, just having a little burp.
That's all right.
The scene where the car, where we like run out onto the street and we stop the cars in traffic.
Yeah.
So like we did that all. We sort of run out the side of a building, up the footpath, out onto the road. Had some friends driving some cars, stopped them, and we did all that like from outside of the building, even though it's like edited together, not in one shot, but we did it all in one shot. And, we feel like we've gone and, got the council permission to use the street or anything. We're just running around doing shit. So when we're running out the side of the building, up the street, out onto the road, we've got two cars coming down the road. I stop the first car, pull the guy out of that, throw him out of it. And then Nano grabs the second car to chase after me. I take off in the first, Nano takes off in the second. And like I sort of like aggressively like get the guy out of the car, get out of the way sort of thing, and just get out of there. And then when Nano comes and gets Jimmy out of the car, I don't know if you know, both the guys in those cars are in cool bands, so I want to give them a plug. Pepperhead's like a really cool rock band from our area. The first guy in the car, that's his band, Kieran, and the second band is a sick punk rock band from the area, the Darrens. So check them both out.
There you go. I have to check them out. Yep.
They're cool as. Yeah, they're cool as. But when Nano's pulling Jimmy out of the car, he's like throws him to the ground. I'm like, man, lay the boot into him, like really, like just be aggressive on him, like shake him around a bit. But each time we do, and we did that whole process, I don't know, 10 times or so. different angles, different shots, working out as we go how to do it, all that kind of stuff. And some of the time we're running out and we're throwing someone to the ground, pretending to beat the crap out of them and kick them, and then there's a car coming down the street or another one coming down the street, and they're looking at us going, like, "What the hell is going on?" And we're like, "Oh, stop!" So it was really hectic. Actually, it was like when we talked about doing it, it was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to go and do this thing. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, whatever." And then when it came to the actual steps of going through and doing it, it was just like, this is kind of full on, and like in the clip, it comes across like really fun and playful, and kind of a little bit hectic, but a little bit playful at the same time. But at the time, it was just hectic because it was just like, as we run out from the side of the building, I can't see if there's any cars coming, so I'm sort of running out trying to do my thing, pretending to be a character or whatever. And then I'm also watching out that there's not a car going to hit me from coming from behind one of these cars, and I'm running out from behind of these parked cars. And then, like, doing traffic, there's no one there doing traffic control for us. It's just us acting like a bunch of muppets in the street, basically. It was fucking hilarious. It was so much fun, man. It was so much fun.
That's awesome. It did come out really, really good. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. It was cool fun.
Well, you mentioned before you got some more tunes on the way. Have you been recording?
Yeah. We've like obviously, like every band, you're always writing new tunes, you're always putting new things together. So there'll be a new album next year, I guess. We're not in like a massive rush to put anything out in terms of that. We've got something really cool coming up later this year, which I won't say too much about, but I'll give some hints of some cool shit happening in the works. So there'll be some more music released later this year. And we've started tracking that. And then we've just basically putting together all the songs, all the riffs, all the different ideas that we came up with through lockdown maybe a month ago now, I don't know, a few weeks ago. We just got in there, tracked a whole bunch of drums, tracked a whole bunch of songs, as really good quality demo sort of things, and just polishing things up for another album down the track at some point. Yeah.
Oh, so keen.
Yeah. There's some, and try to bring a little bit more groove back into it, like the first EP had a lot of groove with the elements of the blast and all that kind of stuff. And then the album came out and I think we got a little heavier. It sort of stepped up a little bit in intensity from the first EP. And I think we want to sort of bring a little bit more of that groove back into it as well for the next album and the next bunch of releases. Always keeping that, those elements of grind and blast and just, like hecticness. But I think we want to bring, a few more, bring a little bit more of that groove back into it as well.
That's awesome. That's all. You got a new drummer too, don't you?
Yeah, Kieran Smith. So, do you know Disparo?
What's that, sorry?
Disparo, do you know Disparo?
No.
They're like really cool, like grindcore, like they call it fastcore. I don't know much about fastcore, I will admit. But Disparo do it really fucking well. So check them out, man. They're fucking cool. They're really good dudes too. They've always been really good dudes.
I don't have a pen, but I can watch it back, and I'll be searching all these bands. You got the goods.
Yeah, check it out, man. Yeah, they're cool as fuck, man. Disparo have done heaps, like they're like one of those bands that are this is so Kieran, our new drummer, this is his band that he's been in. So he plays in a couple of bands. He's been playing with Disparo for a really long time, and they're just those dudes that the kind of guys that just don't wait around and just go and do shit. Like, man, they did like a 65 show world tour. I think it was in 2018 or 2017. And they just went and booked, like I'm talking, they went and booked like, I think it was 65 shows, 70 shows, like across Europe, America, Indonesia, like fucking Asia. I don't know how many countries, man, but it was a lot.
That's hectic.
And they just went and did it off their own, like can-do attitude, essentially. They're sick. They're good dudes, man. And yeah, it was, been friends with Kieran for a little while through the, not just knowing him through bands and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it so happened that he ended up joining up with us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Mate, well,
Yeah.
it seems like it's. I mean, the last 12 months were pretty shitty, and now it's all really seemed to really pick up again, which is fucking awesome news, especially for you guys. You know, I think, you know, you guys are the leaders of working hard as a band. That's what I think, anyway. So it's if you guys are going to be out there and doing it, it's there's going to be more people to follow. So
yeah, I think like when it comes to like bands starting to get back out there and starting to do things again and like all this kind of stuff, like a lot of bands didn't stop. They were restricted in the way they could do things, but a lot of bands are really, and this is something that like I was super impressed by with bands like Fangs, bands like Astro Death, you know, Flaming Wreckage got out there, kept things moving. There's a few really, really cool bands that, you know, like the world stopped, everything stopped, the whole music scene stopped, and some people just went, fuck, we're not stopping. And like, whilst we can't play gigs, we're just going to put out like cool content, cool videos, cool stuff. Like, because, you know, we're all consumers of music, we're all consumers of, you know, we all want to be entertained essentially in some way, shape or form. And we all love our music, we all love our metal, love our riffs and all this kind of stuff. And we want it. Like that's the only reason I'm on social media, man. It's just so I can check out everyone's video clips and stuff, check out all the cool tours that are coming through and check out all the cool stuff related to music. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't bother with social media.
Yeah.
And there were some bands out there that really just took, like, they didn't let it stop them. You know, it's they couldn't tour, but they just didn't let it stop them. And that was really fucking cool. I was impressed by that with a lot of crew. Yeah. Everyone was, as soon as you say like, let's lock things down. We can't do this. We can't do that. The thing that I noticed the most was just like every musician was just like, fuck that. How can we get music out there? Like, we got to stream it. We got to do this. We're going to go to the end of the bloody world to, you know, edge of the earth just to get our stuff out there. We're not stopping, you know? And, I think that, it just shows. I think it's something that shows how much this stuff means to us.
Yes.
Like to us musicians, yourself, myself, all these guys are talking about, guys and girls. You know, it's compulsion. You can't. It's something you have to do.
It's in your blood.
You're doing it because you have to do it. You have to work on this stuff and move with it. It's an interesting thing.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it, man. It's in your blood. And you go crazy when you don't do it. Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick sip. But tell you what, you're hitting the road, as we mentioned before, in May and June in support of Battlery. And the tour kicks off on the Gold Coast at Moe's, one of my favourite hangouts. So why do you want to kick it off on the Gold Coast? This whole thing, other than we're awesome.
I'm not gonna lie to you and make up some bullshit about the Gold Coast is our home of where we like to play first. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit. It just happened that's how the scheduling worked.
Yeah.
With venues and times and things available. But the reason we wanted to do it at Moe's, and there is a good reason, is because the place is fucking awesome.
There you go. It's true.
How good a job have those guys done on that venue? From when it first started, every step of the way, every 6 months, every year you go back. There's someone from Sydney. Every time I go into that joint, there's something new they've done. There's something they've improved on it. There's something that they're working on it. Like, I'm always super, super impressed with what they've created with their whole, you know, music fucking, you know.
Shout out to
empire,
Christian and crew. Hey.
Yeah, man, they're the best. They are the best. They are
mate.
good people. And the venue's fucking rad, so what a perfect place to kick it off. And that's why we're coming back to the Gold Coast.
There you go. Hey, with a little twinkle. Yeah. Yeah, so
but,
I'll put the...
man, that place is rad.
You got a round of applause for that one. There you go. Yeah, cool. It's true. And then the next night you're playing. What's it called? What's the Southside of Hell Festival?
Southside of Hell. Before we get onto that, I want to talk a little bit more about Mo's.
Okay.
Because we're playing with the bands we were playing with, we have to talk about that. We've got Azreal, which are just pretty much fucking kings of fucking Queensland metal. Dudes are fucking awesome. They're sick band. We've got Massic on the bill as well. It's just riff monsters. I remember the first time we played with those guys was like at one of our first times up at we just released like the first single off our first EP or something, and we were playing Crowbar, and Cy was like playing, like they were supporting us, and they were playing before us, and Simon was running around and just fucking owning it. And they were just ripping. And I remember looking at Nano and I was just like, fuck, we got to get up next. Like, but they're a sick band and he's a sick front man. And also fuck Toddy from King Parrot and his thrash fucking monster machine with just the two of them there kicking out the jams, man. It's going to be a sick show.
Forest under construction.
Good. Forest under construction. That's what I was trying to think.
But we could say
that, eh?
Yeah, I know. We could say fuck. F.U.C.
That's right.
For anyone that's looking out. F.U.C. Look them up. They're awesome. But yeah, man, it's going to be one hell of a night. I'm really, really looking forward to that show. You know? Yeah,
man, it's going to be sick. And that's going to be our first show in 14 months. By the time we play Sydney, it's going to be a year and a half between Sydney shows. Like it's been like November 2019 was the last time we played in Sydney. So what the fuck? But yeah, as you were saying, the Southside of Hellfest as well. The night straight after Mo's is just a massive lineup of bands.
That's one hell of a weekend, bro. Mate, it's
gonna hurt driving home, eh?
Yeah. I'm like thinking that. I was like, man, it's I know you're used to doing it, but they're two shows that I think are gonna be all kinds of fun, all kinds of mischief. But
oh man, and after not doing it for so long, fuck, it's just gonna be such a release.
What are you doing? Are you sort of how are you getting yourself sort of back into it to prepare yourself for physically to jump in there?
Just getting shit-faced every night. No, just kidding. It's an absolute joke.
Yeah, well, I got this one for it. No. There you go.
I love it. No, we're just doing what we would normally do. It's just, jam regularly, go through the set regularly, jump around the rehearsal room as much as we always do. Like, make sure that, the blood's pumping as we jump around the rehearsal room. But it's funny though, because then you'll know this, especially being a vocalist. I think all musicians will know this, but I think especially as a vocalist, when you haven't played a gig for a little while or something, and you're jamming out the set, you're good to go. But then all of a sudden, the adrenaline starts pumping when you get up and start playing, and you burn through your oxygen way quicker. And then all of a sudden, you're like, you're out of breath, and you're like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? It's weird, especially if you haven't done it for a while. So no doubt that's going to happen because my adrenaline will be through the fucking roof. But it's a weird feeling, yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be good, man.
Yeah, because there was a good period of time where I wasn't jamming, and I got back into a room, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, oh man, it's a different. It is different mechanics getting there in that room. Hey,
well, getting into the room compared to getting on stage is two completely different things. Because you can go through the set 20 times over a course of weeks or whatever, and you're fine. But then when you actually jump up on stage and the heart starts pumping and the adrenaline and all that excitement, and you're just like, it's different. It's such a different thing. Like it's a different fitness. It's not a fitness thing. It's a mental thing because it's like when free divers, they go free diving and they dive for 50 meters deep for 5 minutes underwater. That's all about like controlling your state of mind, as opposed to having like way bigger lungs than the person that doesn't do it. it's all about controlling your mind, relaxing, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know where I'm going with this.
No.
When you haven't done a gig for a while, it's the adrenaline and the heart's pumping 100 miles an hour. And when you're doing it all the time, you still get that adrenaline buzz. That's why we do it. But it's different. You control it better.
That's right.
100%. It's a funny thing.
No, 100%. I've noticed that. Absolutely. Yeah. And you got to get yourself back into that comfortable space mentally and physically as well, I found. But, talking about that, you're a pretty crazy front man. I've seen you dive off stuff, jump into things, but have you ever had an injury that sort of from playing live where you've done yourself a bit of mischief?
I've actually got a really bad back. I'm an old man with a really bad back. I'm 38 now. But, so I've actually got to be really careful. Like after we did, it's weird. I don't ever I've always been like the person that's like, I'm never going to slow down or all this sort of shit. But like after we did that last tour at the end of 2019 for the album launch, where we played we did 14 shows in 17 days across 3 countries. It was just like fucking bang, 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 bang. And then all the stuff in between, the moving around, sleeping in vans on the side of the road and all this kind of shit. But my knees at the end of the tour, my knees were just swollen up because I've had cartilage removed I've had 50% of my meniscus removed from both of my knees. Back from playing rugby when I was a teenager. Actually, one of them was Grinspoon, 97. Was it Grudge Fest in Sydney? My knee bent the wrong way in a circle pit, and I was 14 years old, and I got carried out of there, put in the St. John's ambulance, and I ran back in like an hour later. I was like, fuck yeah. So that was how I did one knee, and the other one was like, I don't know, rugby or something. But so anyway, at the end of that tour, both of my knees were just like full of fluid, like that. Because the way I dance around, I got this like, stupid dance style, sort of like Peter Garrett or something. Everyone always calls me Peter Garrett. But my knees are just so swollen at the end of that tour, man. Like I remember the last 3 or 4 shows, I was literally hopping around on one foot. And I remember Youngie, I was chatting to Youngie one day, and like he was telling me, he's like, when you start doing like shows where it's like 2-3 weeks straight of shows every night, he's like, you're not going to be able to keep doing what you do. There's no way. Your body just won't cop it. And I was like, fuck that, man. I'll be right, and no, I learned that lesson. The age is catching up.
I fell off stage once. I fell down some stairs mid-show and smashed my knee up real bad to the point where I thought I'd actually broken it. And I remember standing up there and feeling the knee click and just go, I've got to finish this set. And then I was just threw back the beers, and then the next day it was like, mate. When we did the Thrash Blast Grind Fest at the end in 2017, I think it was. The first night was at the, I always get the 2 venues, Triffid and Tivoli, mixed up. Tivoli's the Dome, right? Yeah. Yes.
So we played the Tivoli. That was the first night of tour. And I went to jump off stage. I've told this story a couple of times before, but I went to jump off stage to jump in the circle pit and run around the circle pit whilst we're playing. And Chris, I keep burping. What's the band called? Fuck, mental blank. Chris from a band. That's really rude. They're a sick fucking band too. Brisbane band. Yeah. I went to jump off stage anyway, and he's grabbed my legs. I think he thought that there was I was going for a stage dive, so he was just sort of grabbing me, going, yeah, But I wasn't. I was jumping into a circle right behind him, so it wasn't like there was a mash of people together for me to land on. And he just basically grabbed my legs, tipped me over, and I went from the Tivoli stage head first. I'm talking mid-verse. I'm screaming as I'm fucking jumping.
Oh, man.
Head first into the ground, and I'm sure you know that place pretty well. The carpet there's just a really thin layer of carpet, and then it's concrete underneath it. And I just went head first into the concrete. And I had this lump on the side of my head, when you get a bump that just goes whoop, and pops up out of nowhere.
like Mount Cosy. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like the shape of a mango. It was like the size and shape of a mango. Off the side of my head, it just went like just grew instantaneously. Like I hit the deck, I'm screaming, I'm mid-verse. I stood up, fucking like dazed and confused, seeing stars, still seeing, running around. Made my way back up on stage, like grabbed my head, wondering if there's like surprised I wasn't just like pouring out with blood. And then just finished the set, got my way through it, and then at the end of the night, the manager that ran the joint, she's like, "All right, you've got to go to the hospital." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm all right." I was behind the merch desk, and I'm all right. And she kept walking back like every 20 minutes just to check on me. She's like, "You all right? You all right?" All this sort of stuff. And then on the way home before we went to the hotel, I was like, the guys were like, "Nah, man, we're going to the hospital. You got to we want to make sure you wake up in the morning." That's a heavy hit, It was huge, bro. The lump on the side of the head, mate, it was massive. So I stayed in like the emergency ward till like 3 a.m, and they just kept an eye on me. And then they were like, "All right, cool. It's been 6 hours since you did the hit. You're right to go sleep." But yeah, that was a bit hectic.
Mate. No more of that. But still,
yeah. I mean, let's hope not.
Yeah.
But the next night, I was back up doing the exact same fucking thing. So,
Well, I mean, what else has been? I mean, there's a lot that's happened since the last time we spoke. I mean, was it Dead Set Records as well?
Yeah, this is the first little release that we're doing with Dead Set Records.
Yeah.
So we just, that's Youngie's little label there. He manages us, so it's sort of pretty natural sort of thing there, I guess, to do that. So that's a pretty cool little thing.
It is.
There's no hardcore contracts or anything like that, like majors. It's like, hey, we'll put some music out, let's do it through this.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty organic thing, like we've been good mates with Youngie for a long time. He's been a fucking good friend to us, basically. He's always looked out for us, looked after us. And, so it's just sort of a pretty natural, organic thing to do.
You've also been busy with Cult Etiquette PR as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So I started up, so I've got a recording, as you know, but I've got a recording studio in Sydney here, House Fox Studios. So I've been running that since 2013. So it's, 8 years. I think June will have been open 8 years. And always been pretty active on the managerial side of playing in bands, and all bands I've always been in, and always been very active in setting things up and, organising things, booking tours, setting up little festivals and just all that sort of stuff. And then, so I got to work on sort of putting together a publicity agency, which I was sort of working on lightly through 2019, sort of piecing it all together. And then I was chatting with Dicey from Soundworks. He was doing the tour.
Shout out to Dicey.
Mate, he's the best.
He's
such a good fucking dude. He is the best. I sort of chatted with him when we're doing the I Hate God tour with Black Rheno, and sort of telling him about what I was getting up to, and just chatting to him about it. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, awesome, sounds great." And he was sort of really supportive in all my ideas. I was running a few things by him because just appreciate his opinion and all that sort of stuff. And just, I don't know, we just sort of connected on it a lot, and it sort of ended up by, the end of that tour, it was sort of like, oh, why don't we do a little bit of this stuff together? And then we're sort of getting ready to launch it at the beginning of 2020, sort of maybe April or something, I think was the idea. And then, everything happened, and it was like, well, let's maybe not launch a publicity company. Let's see if we can not go under with our own jobs and our own, the studio. For me, it was kind of like, what's going on with the studio? It was definitely massive survival mode for that, because we didn't know what the hell was going on. Am I meant to be open? Am I meant to be shut? Am I meant to have 3 people? Am I meant to have 1 person? Am I meant to have 5 people in a room? We didn't know. There was no real specific information for such a niche business. So it was really tricky, that. So we basically put Cult Etiquette on the back burner for a little while there, and then once we sort of got our handle on that stuff, got back to getting it ready, and then launched it, I guess, 6 months ago now. which is it's just been awesome. To
Mate,
be honest, it's just gone really well.
I will say that I've been super impressed by how professional you guys have been, and nothing but an absolute pleasure to work with when you send stuff through. Like, I really applaud you guys and how hard you've worked with it, but it's fucking awesome. I'm real stoked for you guys and proud of you dudes.
Thanks, man. I mean, I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your opinion, which is why, before we launched it, I sent you the links to it all. I was like, hey, what do you think, man? What's
Very cool.
And it was nice to have a friend like yourself to send that stuff to. And I sent it to Chris at Heavy and a couple of other mates, and was like, hey, we're gearing up to do this. Just letting you know. What do you think? All that kind of stuff. And I think the good thing about what we do, I think, is the fact that me and Dicey, we both play in bands. We're both musicians. We both tour. We like we were talking about before with bands that it's their compulsion to put music out. They have to work on this stuff. They have to be involved in it. Yeah. We're both the same way. And when we work for a band, we work for whoever it is, we know just how much it means to them, man. Like, we get it. We fucking know. It's heart and soul. It's, so we treat it like that. And it's good fun, man. And it's like, what a rad fucking job. We get to help bands like Flaming Wreckage and Astro Death and The Amenta and, King Parrot and Psychroptic and all these other sick bands. Crypt Crawler, that's another sick one to check out at the moment. They're just doing some working with them at the moment.
Okay.
Really cool death metal band from West Oz. They got that sort of Florida death metal sort of vibes going on there. Some some hints of obituary and things like that, and old school sort of vibes, but with that modern approach. It's cool. Really cool.
Awesome.
So it's good, man. It's a good job.
Absolutely. Man, that's unreal. I mean, you got a lot going on. So, I mean, you got that. You've Black Rheno. What else is next? What you got cooking up behind the scenes? You mentioned something before. You were like, oh, just give a couple of hints. Something was coming up. What's?
Oh yeah, we'll have some more Black Rheno music coming out later this year. Yeah, there'll be something fun about it around that. Yeah.
Oh, you're holding back on me, mate. You're not spilling the beans. Spilling the fucking beans. All right.
Fuck, I feel like a dickhead if it doesn't pull through right now.
Keep your secrets. Keep your secrets. All right. That's all good, mate.
Everyone will be like, what were you hyping up before? And I'll be like, oh, man, it didn't happen. Don't
worry. Oh, mate. Much like something else. I'll tell you. I got a story for you. Anyway, Milla, it's been great hanging out with you. The new Black Rheno single, Battle Ready, is out now everywhere. The tour kicks off on May 7th at Moe's, and we will have all the links down here. Brother, cheers to you, my man. Enjoy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for having us on the show. Much appreciated. And everyone on the East Coast, get out to some shows. Check out the links. Check out all that stuff. We'll be doing Victoria. Heaps of New South Wales shows. So, yeah, East Coast, we'll be on.
I'll have all the dates down here too.
Yeah, just giving it an extra plug, you know what I mean.
Yeah.